welcome to another free.volous episode. So today we're going to talk about my 2024 favorites for skincare. So it's part 2 of my favorites. These are products that I tried throughout last year. They are not old favorites. They are new things that I discovered throughout last year that, you know, created a very good impression, and I wanted to chat to you about them. Before we start, just letting you know about my skin because that matters a lot. Basically, I'm 45 years old. I have the natural wear and tear 45 years of time passing through my face. I don't have Botox or fillers, no judgment there. It's just that I haven't done that. And I do struggle with melasma and hyperpigmentation and post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation, and for that I've been doing some courses of laser treatments to sort of conservative results. So the melasma does disappear for a bit there and my skin looks absolutely super smooth, which is a dream for me. But then it all comes back. So, you know, that's not very happy for my bank account, but that's what life is bringing me. And also I've had acne ever since I was 13. It's a lot better now, a lot more controllable. It's not as annoying, but I still allow myself to be angry at it when it comes about. And there's huge bouts of time where I don't have any blemish on my skin. There's always something surfacing, you know, so it's a bit of an annoying thing that I've been struggling with throughout my basically whole life. And finally, and I think this is the most important thing for you to have into account, is that I have combination 2 oily skin, but because I live in Lisbon and with global warming and whatever, there have been longer and longer periods of time where the weather has been very warm and I've been basically oily, I'd say 9 out of the 12 months of the year, and that comes into account into the way that I select my products for everyday wear. So without further ado, let's jump into it. Let's start with cleansers. I have 2 here to talk to you about, and one of them, and the one that I want to talk about first, is a very recent find, but it made an immediate lasting impression. I love cleansers. I love playing with cleansers, and if I have a good cleanser, it's one of my favorite parts of my routine, especially in the evening. It's one of my favorite things to do because it feels very luxurious and very calming for me. And, you know, it's part of a nighttime routine where you just wind down. And this one was a recommendation from a friend who is Marcia from Skin Minimalist on Instagram. Hi Marcia, I know you're watching this. And we have very similar tastes in terms of skincare. And she sent me a message a while ago saying, listen, you're like me. We both prefer balm cleansers, which is absolutely true. But I found an oil that I think you will love because I fell in love with it. And I was kind of like, oh really? And she sent me a screenshot later. She talked about it on her account and I purchased it, and she was absolutely right. As usual, we usually, you know, we connect in these things, and it's the unique Calendula Complete Cleansing Oil. This is amazing, and I'm not the biggest fan of cleansing oils because they are runnier in texture, in nature. They are watery, so they slip off of your hands. They're not as, I don't know, the experience of having a balm is a bit more my speed, but this has a bit more viscosity to it. So first and foremost, it doesn't run off of your fingers as easily, but mostly when you're massaging it onto your skin, it still has a bit of that density that makes it very pleasurable to use. And like every cleanser to meet my criteria, this melts everything very easily without lots of rubbing, using lots of product or anything. It doesn't sting my eyes. I have the option of either wiping it with a damp washcloth, or when I don't want to use that little bit of extra exfoliation, I can emulsify it with water and it will rinse off clean without either leaving my skin tight, but also not leaving that much of a residue that it feels heavy, which throughout the day and even in the evening, it kind of builds up and it starts feeling annoying. And this really hits everything on the head. It's amazing. So, and it's a quite affordable option. because this is, I don't know if it's Korean or Japanese, but it's from Yes Style or Stylevana. I have a code with Yes Style, which is free.volous 10. So if you're buying stuff from there, maybe trying out using a code, any code, but use a code, get your money's worth. But this is a bit more affordable than most oil cleansers that you can find around that are this glorious to use on the face. To be honest, I was very, very surprised. I've tried and talked about several oil cleansers here in my channel. This is the one until now that is going to probably stay as a staple, because everything else was very nice and I can recommend and I feel it's really good, but this is a step above in terms of the experience, which means a lot to me. And talking about experience, this is the gel cleanser from Skin Rocks. This is the brand by Caroline Hirons. If you don't know, many moons ago, over a decade ago, Caroline Hirons on YouTube was the one that absolutely taught me about double cleansing and using balms, which was something that was really weird and hard to get a hold of. And I learned a lot from her, especially over the first few years. When she moved on to Instagram, you know, it's harder to follow the content over there. I prefer YouTube, to be honest, in that sense. But I really usually loved her cleanser recommendations. They're all very bougie most of the time. But yeah, and when she came out with her own brand, I was really curious to know what she was coming out with. And she took a while to come out with cleansers. They were not her first thing that she came out with. It's an expensive brand, sadly, but makes some sense. But this cleanser, it came, I bought it a few weeks before the her balm cleanser, which would be the iconic product to try from her, because she's, you know, the OG balm cleanser pusher. But this one, the gel cleanser, is the one that I bought a while before that, and I was in absolute love with this texture, because if you don't know, one of my favorite textures in terms of balmy cleansers is the Renaissance Cleansing Gel by Oskia, and that one is also, it's a gel, not in the foaming gel type of product, but in kind of gel oil. This has a bit of water on it, but you can see it's sort of a gel oil that you massage onto the skin, and then you remove again just by adding water or with a damp washcloth. And this is a luxurious texture. It's super dense, super rich. You massage it very pleasurably onto the skin. It melts everything off so easily, and it's amazing as a sensorial experience. For me, it hits the nail on the head when it comes to the perfect texture. Now, keep in mind, and they are very open about it, which I personally appreciate. They're very open about the fact that this is meant for mild, light makeup wear. This is not meant to destroy very waterproof, lots of layers of makeup on your skin. It's more for that daily lighter wear makeup, and also of course SPFs and stuff. But I would say this goes a notch above what you would expect from something with those claims. It does remove quite a bit of makeup very easily, so I was very happy when I tried it, and it even performed a bit better than I was expecting, because I prefer a cleanser that is a one and done. So I can use it for a light makeup day and for a heavy makeup day if I want to. This one doesn't go full on to the heavy makeup days, but it is more than enough for every day for me, even when I go a bit heavier. Not for those special evenings though, you know what I mean? But yeah, I have the fragranced version, which is a nice kind of, I'd say, citrusy floral scent, but it doesn't linger, it doesn't stab you in the face with the smell, but they do offer a fragrance-free option, I think, for most of the products. So very nice in that sense. And this was a beautiful highlight of the end of my year, I should say. Everything else that I tried in terms of cleansers this year was kind of duddy. If you want a video on things that didn't go so well for me this year, just let me know in the comments below. I'll do a video on it for sure. Now let's jump into, you know, serums, all those kinds of stuff. Just letting you know, when it comes to my staples in terms of retinoids, I didn't stay clear from what I already know, what I already use. I did dabble into, you know, hydrating serums, antioxidant serums, which I feel can be a bit more interchangeable, but my core products didn't change that much. I have here quite a good selection of serums that I've tried. I use them sort of interchangeably, most of them. I can layer them because they're very lightweight, but they felt amazing. So that's what I'm gonna focus on. Let's start with the antioxidant serums. The first one that I want to mention, also a recommendation from Marcia actually, it's the Bubble Daydream Tone and Texture Serum, Vitamin C and Niacinamide. This has, oh, is this too bright? This has a very nice selection of antioxidants and it is quite affordable. It is a lightweight serum. Where can I test this on my hand so it's not too oily? It is a very lightweight, kind of, you know, those thin gel serums that give you loads of hydration without the weight, a bit of plumpness to the skin, and it is a beautiful, affordable antioxidant serum that I tried this year. Again, because of the heat, I kind of changed my routines in the morning a little bit. That's when I would wear an antioxidant serum. But this was one that I reached for very often when I was wearing an antioxidant serum in the morning. But we'll get to that. But this is nice. It sinks into the skin quite quickly, so it's nice to layer underneath a sunscreen without feeling extremely heavy, you know. There are some times when even a very lightweight serum and then a sunscreen on top of it may be a bit too heavy for an oily skin, at least for me, but this was a good one. Another great one, and this is sort of still within the affordable side of things. This is by Beauty of Joseon, and it's the Glow Deep Serum. I don't have my glasses, so sorry, can't read. This is the Arbutin serum. It has other things in here. And this is, again, a very nice, and you can see I'm almost out of it, has a very nice sensorial feel. It is a runny, thinner than the Bubble one sort of serum that doesn't leave loads of residue on the skin. Again, very lightweight. This is very good. The Arbutin is very good for hyperpigmentation, so that's really nice. And it's been one that I've been loving to use. When it comes to antioxidant serums especially, the only way to see if they're working would be if you applied it to half your face and not use it on the other side of your face. I'm not risking it. So this is more of a preventative step than something that would reverse acute signs of aging or oxidation on the skin, or, you know, hyperpigmentation, that kind of stuff. It can tone down some hyperpigmentation on your skin with time, but it's not on me, because I have loads of hyperpigmentation. This is not gonna solve everything. Not even lasers do that. But yeah, it's very lightweight, very nice. And although it says glow, again, for us with oily skins, you don't have to be afraid of this one. I think this is even, as I said, more lightweight than the Bubble one. Now, moving on to something that I can use at any step of the routine, morning or evening. This is the Centella Pro Seca Intensive Ampoule by Skin 1004, Skin 1004, Skin 1004, don't know how to pronounce it. I love the classic Centella ampoule from them. I also have it in my vanity going, and I've used kind of the same amount of both because I use them interchangeably. I think I did an Instagram post on this one. It is a beautiful, again, it looks like a milky serum and looks like it's going to be more hydrating than the classic Centella ampoule, but this sinks into the skin quite quickly. And I would say the Centella ampoule leaves more of a very bouncy, fresh, plump sensation on the skin. It makes it feel very hydrated without the heft. This gives you the same, a little bit less. so a bit less glow on the skin, I would say. And this is very good because it's meant to balance out your skin if you have some problems in there, which I do most of the time because it has that probiotic complex in there, but it's still, the base is the Cica complex, which is very calming, barrier repairing. And I've been loving using the Skin 1004 stuff this year and the Beauty of Joseon, but this one was an amazing find. I think that this, I may be wrong, I haven't read lots on it, but I feel, and that's how I go with my skincare, that this is better meant for when my skin is oilier than the other one. The other one adds a bit more of a visible hydration to the skin. This is a bit more of invisible hydration, if that makes sense. Now moving on to something that some people may not absolutely be fans of, but I am in love with this. It's the Advanced Snail Mucin Power Essence by Cosrx. This is so good. Again, bringing loads of hydration and bounce and plumpness to the skin. It is more, again, of that gel serum texture. It even gives you that little bit of, you know, the little lines, but that doesn't matter. It's just that it gives you so much plumpness to the skin, and it's very hydrating. But again, because it's one of those gel serum kind of textures, it's so lightweight on the skin. I can use this. I sometimes layer some of these in the evenings, of course. In the morning, I'm not a big fan of layering for most of the year, but I can layer this underneath other serums, on top of other serums before any moisturizer. And I know that I'm adding another layer of beautiful hydration. Are all of these necessary in one routine? Of course not, but I've been playing with these on and off throughout the year, and I've been loving them so much that I had to mention them all. Another one is by Beauty of Joseon also. This is the Revive Serum, and this has ginseng in it, and I really like ginseng based products. It's a big thing in, I think, Korean skincare, and I can understand why. And again, it's more of that gel texture, gel serum texture. It is super smoothing on the skin. It feels lovely, and it has a bit more of those anti-aging properties, more lightweight or less heavy duty than, I'd say, a retinoid, but this also gives you a bit of boost in terms of some antioxidant and some collagen production and all of that, without being as aggressive as maybe a retinoid is. So in those evenings when I don't want to go in with a retinoid, where I want to get a bit of a pause on my skin, or when my skin is a bit more sensitive, these are things that I go for, that I can layer on and just give it a very peaceful feeling while still having a bit of something there, you know. And the last one, the Power Peptides by Geek and Gorgeous. This was launched in 2024. I was going to say this year, in 2024. And this is the Pro Collagen Multi-Peptide Serum. This is so pleasant to use, again, and it's within this family that gives you some plumpness, some smoothness to the touch of your skin, and it feels so comforted and healthy, and it looks beautiful without having that weight that some more emollient blends or formulas may bring to you. And again, this has peptides in it, which is also always amazing. I really love my peptides. And again, you can see it's a milky kind of serum. It goes in very easily. I have a huge layer of products on my skin, and it looks satiny. It doesn't look oily. Of course, my hands are drier than my face, but you can get the gist. And this is another one that I can use in those days. I can layer this with my retinoids, but I can also use this in the pause days with the other serums that I've mentioned here. And I usually sometimes, mostly in the evenings, again, I kind of layer a few of these and I go back and forth between them, except for the antioxidant ones, which I usually reserve for the daytime. For moisturizer, I only have one here. I'm still loving the Happier Barrier by Geek and Gorgeous, basically. So, and I'm very, you know, moisturizer is not something that I can wear the whole year. Just doesn't, I don't need it. I add a couple of serums and my skin is hydrated enough and it's done most of the time. But there was one product that I tried last year that I was very impressed with. And it's something that dry skins will hate. For sure. But I bought a pack of minis from Allies of Skin just to try a bunch of their products. I found it on a sale and I said, this is it. I've been seeing so many ads to Allies of Skin, so many people talking about it, sponsored. So I thought this is a good one to start with. And I was either meh about the products or one of them really broke my skin out very badly. And I didn't like it at all. And this was the one that I went back to later on, mostly this past year. And it was kind of like, this is really good. This is the Peptides and Antioxidants Advanced Firming Daily Treatment by Allies of Skin. And this is so good. I have a mini because this is super expensive, but this is my second small size. They have several sizes of this product, and this is my second too. The first one I used it up, and I was kind of like, I think I love this so much. I want it again because my oily friends, this sinks into the skin and feels like nothing, which is something that most people, it's not something that most people would love in a moisturizer, but it's something that I personally absolutely adore. It looks like nothing, and once it sinks in, it disappears. It feels moisturizing when you're applying it, don't get me wrong. It massages beautifully, but then it disappears. And it's so nice. If you have oily skin, you will understand. Nobody else will, but you will understand how this is sort of magical in that sense. And this is loaded with loads of antioxidants and peptides and all that, which is a great concoction. Allies of Skin is very science-driven, which is something that really calls to me. I like science-driven skincare. I may be the last person on the internet to do so, but I'm very into that. But most of their products really broke me out or made me have weird reactions, or just, I don't understand why the price is this. But this one is the exception. This is an amazing moisturizer. Your skin feels smooth and plump to the touch, but it doesn't feel heavy at all. So it's amazing and I'm in love with it, and I don't know what I'm gonna do when I run out of this because Allies of Skin is so expensive, and yeah. But anyway, love it. Now, moving on to eye cream, and I have one. I think I hadn't discovered this last year. I checked my blog to see, and I don't think I had mentioned this yet. If I have, I'm sorry. But I really love this eye cream. So extra bonus points, I guess. If I've already mentioned it, let me get my, yeah. This is the Madagascar Centella Probiotica Bakuchiol Eye Cream by Skin 1004. And this is a huge amount. Again, Korean and Japanese eye creams, they come in a very generous amount for us here in the West who are used to very small amounts of eye cream. This is very generous. It comes with one of these applicators where you can apply this onto your eyes like this is in a massaging kind of way, but you can also take it out and use it like this, which when it starts to reach you get halfway sort of, it starts to be easier to get the product out that way. And this is a very thin, not thin, I would say it doesn't have a moussey texture, but it has the lightness of a mousse in its formula. So it doesn't feel heavy, but it feels rich enough for the under eye area. If you know, I like some under eye richness, especially because I have such crepey skin on my under eyes that I really need some help there with making it feel a bit more smooth and plump. And this has the right amount of, you know, thickness without being heavy or greasy in any way, which I appreciate in the evenings and stuff like that before daytime. I really like this kind of texture, and it has a bit of heft to it that gives me that kind of smoothing sensation under the eyes, but it doesn't feel greasy at all. And again, it has the centella complex, has a bit of bakuchiol, which is meant to be good. The results are still, there's some studies out there, but they're not as comprehensive, but it's still a pretty good anti-aging ingredient, supposedly. So I absolutely love it, and I can't recommend, if you're going for eye creams, most of the time going to a Yes Style or Stylevana and getting something like this, I think you will get way more bang out of your buck. Now, on to sunscreens, which, if you don't know, is one of my favorite things because I have melasma, I have to protect my skin constantly, and I don't play about it. And I use the correct amounts and I reapply throughout the day. So, I struggle with sunscreen in the summertime because I'm very oily. And I didn't try the Beauty of Joseon new formula this year, but I will next year. Highly recommended, so I will try it. But throughout this year, what I've perfected sort of was the way that I addressed the sunscreen application when it was warmer, and it was going to get warmer throughout the day. And there are a couple of tips that I can give you right now if you haven't already realized them, but here it is. The first thing is, if you're using an antioxidant serum, try using something that is watery, something that is super lightweight. I most of the time went with my Geek and Gorgeous vitamin C. That is a water, and that's something that I usually love in the summertime if I'm using an antioxidant sunscreen or an antioxidant serum. But other than that, when you're applying a serum to your cleansed face, apply a serum and don't go in with your sunscreen immediately after. Let it sink in until your skin is back to dry touch feeling again. Then go in with your sunscreen and leave that sunscreen to set again to a dry touch feeling. And you will notice a huge difference in how then makeup will apply on top of it, but also how longer it takes for that starting of heavy and greasier feeling on your skin it takes to develop. You know what I mean? So I think that is one great thing. It is more time consuming. What I usually do is I brush my teeth, brush my hair, go get dressed, have breakfast, use those little everyday things. I fit them between those steps so that I can do that in the morning. But the other tip is, if you can't spare that amount of time, reach for a one and done sunscreen that already has some antioxidant properties in the formula aside of the sunscreen filters. And that will give you, again, a reduction on the time that you'll just have to wait for your sunscreen to set on your face and then move on. And that's what I did mainly this year. And I found a huge difference in, again, the time that the oils took to develop on my skin, at least at first. So I have 3 here to talk to you about. I have to start with these 2, which were the stars of the show. Highly unlikely winners. I haven't seen anybody really talk about these, and I think they're amazing. Now, these are by Garnier. These are from their daily skincare line. They have Ombre Solaire, which is the beach intense sun exposure line, I would say, which also have these mix-ins of antioxidant serums or niacinamide. I don't know why they're doing 2 formulas. I haven't tried those from them. I can tell you the anti-dark spot, the one that is very similar to the shaker fluid, which I've been raving about for years, is still one of my favorites, but I haven't tried those 2. I usually like Garnier formulas, but can't speak for those 2. About these, I can, and I have to rave about them. The first one I would go with is the Vitamin C Daily UV. This is, again, SPF 50 plus. This is closer to a creamy lotion. It's not very runny. It's denser than the other one that I'm going to talk about, but it's still very lightweight on the skin. It does leave a bit of a film like most sunscreens, but it doesn't feel extremely tacky or greasy or weird on the skin. They have a glow version of this. Of course, I didn't touch it with a 10-foot pole, but this one I feel is really good for daily use, especially again, spring, autumn, that kind of stuff, and when it's not too hot out there, because it still has a bit of that creaminess to it, but it feels very hydrating. It doesn't pill if you let it set on the skin. If you go in immediately with your makeup, it will pill like crazy, and then you won't have your protection, so keep that in mind. But I love having a sunscreen that already has the vitamin C in it for one and done days when I don't have or don't want to apply any makeup on. This is absolutely amazing. Now, the huge star of this whole section is the BHA niacinamide one. This is incredible, and I haven't seen anyone talk about it. This is more meant for oily skins. Thank you, Garnier. Again, SPF 50 plus, and this is a runny kind of lotion. This is delightful to apply into the skin. It doesn't pill. It's a lot less pill prone than the vitamin C one, although as I said, the vitamin C can be used without pilling. You just have to wait it to sit on your skin and to set. But this is so nice. It's very thin. It's not mattifying, drying, alcohol-y feeling in any way. It doesn't have a fragrance. It has a slight scent of sunscreen if you push your nose against it, but it doesn't have a fragrance. And this was my companion for daily sunscreen most of the days. If I didn't have very intense sun exposure, of course, I'm always checking the UV rating for the day, and that's where my selection comes in. But this was a great, everyday, very simple sunscreen that I could use. And it's really nice to apply on top of makeup also because it's very thin, so it doesn't disrupt as much because you don't have to massage it as densely on your skin, you know? So this is a huge, huge star. I hope they keep on selling it, hopefully. And the last one is kind of an honorable mention because it comes with a caveat, but it's still really good, and I think many of you would love it. So this is the Derma Repa Skin Urban 365. It has anti-pigmentation kind of action. It doesn't mean, it says bleaching, which is a terrible choice of words. Says Derma, if you're watching this, please reevaluate. Don't be an idiot. But this has an amazing antioxidant complex. If you remember, I raved about the Azelaic RU SPF 50 last year. That was beautiful. It is a lotion that is hydrating without feeling too heavy, and it sets on the skin, but it leaves a bit of a glow to the skin, which is good for me when it's drier and colder outside, but it can't be used throughout the whole year at all. It's too heavy, but for many people, it would be amazing to wear throughout the whole year. Just for me, it's too heavy. This one is not a lotion, and this doesn't only have the azelaic acid complex. It has ferulic acid and other antioxidant properties in there. This is a cream, and it is a thicker cream. And the difference is this one has more mineral-based sunscreen. So the other two that I mentioned are organic sunscreen filters, so they do not leave a white cast at all. This will leave a bit of a white cast on skins darker than mine. On mine, I massage it in just enough, because you shouldn't massage it a lot or you will rub it off of your face. And then when it sets in, it disappears on my skin. So it's still good for my skin tone, which is like medium, depending on the brand of foundation. But this has an amazing complex of antioxidant properties, and I really love it. I personally can't use it every day, because it is very mineral heavy, and mineral sunscreens on me give me the itch, literally. They really itch my skin if I use them several days in a row. They start feeling very itchy. This one does that. So I can only use it rotating in between other sunscreens, and it is a thicker feeling. So I can use it now in the winter time, and it's beautiful. I mostly use it when I'm not wearing anything, makeup, nothing. It's just apply it on the face and I'm good to go. But this is a really good one. I would say if you want mineral sunscreen, if you want a more antioxidant complex already in your sunscreen, if you don't mind the mineral filters, and if you want a bit more hydration, I think this would be a good one for you. So that's why I wanted to mention it. I still prefer the Azalac RU. When it comes to very high UV ratings, I always check the UV before I apply my sunscreen so that I can see what I'm wearing on that day. And when it's peak summer and there's no playing about it, I still go for the Untitled UV Immune 400 by La Roche-Posay. The thing that I did this year was trying the oily skin versions of the fluid and the cream. And I loved both of them. And I think I prefer especially the fluid slightly to the other fluid, which has the yellow one, which is for normal skin, I think. It's just slightly better, slightly more lightweight. I was expecting something even more watery, something maybe with loads of alcohol in it, which would feel amazing for my skin in certain days, but it isn't. It still has that that classic La Roche-Posay feel. It doesn't feel very it doesn't even smell alcohol-y at all. It is very thin and it feels very nice to apply into the skin. Of course, these very liquidy ones, you have to measure them to make sure you're applying the correct amount. It's very easy to apply less than you should. And this is really nice. And the other one that I've loved is the Ultra Long UVA Protection. This is the gel, sorry, glasses again. Oil Control Gel Cream. This has no gel feeling to it at all. Where can I apply it? Would you call this a gel cream? Would you? I wouldn't. This is a cream. It doesn't feel at all like a gel. It is a cream, but it's one of those, it feels a bit more moussey as a cream, so it's a way more tolerable for oilier skin types. Again, this one is more meant for me spring and winter time, and this one summertime. When the UV rating is high, these supposedly have some of the best UVA filters out there, and UVA helps with my melasma. UVA filters help a lot with my melasma, so those are the ones that I go for when I don't want to risk it at all. And this one, especially the fluid, the same as with the Garnier BHA and niacinamide, these are great to reapply throughout the day because they are thinner, so they don't interfere as much with your makeup. Now, the last one I want to talk about is something you heard me talk about in one of my free.volous takes. I think it was on the first one, the free.volous takes. This is the Purito Daily Soft Touch Sunscreen Outdoor Defense. And I was very curious about this because this claims to last for 10 hours on your skin. So you apply it in the morning and lasts for 10 hours. Listen, I didn't test that, as you can imagine. I wouldn't be the one risking it, but I was on one side very confused. How can you claim that? How is that allowed? Especially if you watch Odile Monod's videos, she talks about how legislation in Korea works regarding skincare and sunscreens, and they're very strict. So how can you claim this? I haven't found an answer, to be honest. I asked around to some people who are in the, who know about formulation, who are scientists who know about these kinds of things, and they are as flabbergasted about this as I am. But we didn't reach a conclusion because this shouldn't be legal this claim shouldn't be legal if it wasn't true, especially in Korea. But as I said, I didn't try this on myself, this claim. I just was really interested to know how this felt on the skin, being something that is supposedly meant to last longer than your average sunscreen, although I didn't let it last longer. How did it feel on the skin? Did it feel very heavy, very thick, very greasy? Because it has to have that very adhesive layer to stick to your face and not go anywhere. But it is surprisingly comfortable, surprisingly creamy in sunscreens from Korea and Japan, they are a different kind of thing, you know. This is a cream, but it doesn't feel half as thick as this one, as the La Roche-Posay one. And it still leaves a layer on your skin that you feel is protecting you and is there. So for oily skins, this is a good one, again, out of extremely hot times, but it's very lightweight and it is a beautiful base for makeup. So I was very surprised at how much I love this. And I wasn't expecting. And yeah, here it is. And it has 5 ceramides in it, which is great for repairing. So when my skin is very sensitive, this is one of those that I can go for. And yeah, it's one of the best textures that I tried this year. And the other one, I don't have it because I used it up. I mentioned on an empties video, I will probably repurchase, which is the Can Make UV Mermaid UV Gel, I think. That's a beautiful, beautiful sunscreen. Again, that one feels more like a gel cream would actually feel. And it layers onto your skin in a very special way, which is if your skin is dry to the touch and it looks a bit more matte right after you cleansed it, it looks very like your skin. When it sets, it looks like your skin. But if you apply it on top of a glowy serum or something, it will look glowy. And I can get where the mermaid kind of claims come from, because it doesn't feel sticky to the touch ever. It's very thin, it's a very lightweight gel. It feels very, not cooling, but very lightweight on the skin. But then it gives you a bit of glow that looks so beautiful, and I adored using that sunscreen, and I'll probably repurchase it if and when I run out of these that I have here that I'm still using now, mostly in the summertime. The last product for the skin I have here, I hope I haven't forgotten anything else, is the Ole Henriksen peptide lip treatment. This is my second one and it's already done. I have another one going also, which is the creme brulee one, but this is my favorite. This is colorless, and this is the citrusy one, which is colorless again, and it just it is thick. It looks like a gloss on your lips if you wanted to, but you remember my craze with the Too Faced pillow something for the lips, the one that I love the banana one especially, and I kept repurchasing that one until I tried this one, and then I stopped using that one because this is slightly cheaper. That's it. This also doesn't have that lightly minty feeling that the Too Faced pillow balm has. This one doesn't have it. It just is thick and plush on the lips. It grips onto the lips. It doesn't move anywhere, but it doesn't give you those stringy bits at all. Don't be worried about that. It doesn't feel heavy. It just feels thick and repairing. So I'm constantly, if I'm at home, I'm constantly reapplying this. That's a problem because I'm using these up like crazy. I have the creme brulee one, as I said. It doesn't have much of a tint to it, at least that one, but the smell is way more pungent and I don't love the smell as much. I will still use it, it's fine, but I will keep repurchasing this one for sure. It's really pleasant, very subtle, doesn't feel, it doesn't come to your nose when you're talking or anything. It's just there, it feels amazing, and my lips feel so soothed, so nourished with this. This creates a barrier, but it also repairs the lips. I had to check my notes very quickly because there were 3 products that I don't have anymore that I really wanted to mention, and they're all hair care related. The first one is the Lush Wasabi shampoo. That one was so good. I mean, it's not the most inexpensive thing. It's not supermarket cheap, but it's not as expensive as high-end shampoos. And it's a very nice midway or mid-range clarifying shampoo. It leaves your scalp feeling very slight freshy, like the Briogeo, you know, the one in the tub that I absolutely adore and stopped purchasing because it became so expensive. It left that kind of freshy feel on the scalp. It's quite clarifying. It's great to alternate with other more expensive shampoos. I really loved using it and I wanted to mention it here and think about purchasing it soon. And the other product that I really wanted to mention was the Lush Super Milk hair conditioning spray, the one that is a detangler for applying after your shower. And I love that product. Absolutely adore that product. I haven't repurchased it and I miss it so much. First, it is a detangling spray. It's not the most detangling thing in the world, so if you suffer too much in that department, this will not suit you at all. Maybe you can layer it with something else, but on its own, it will not detangle amazingly your hair. For me, it's more than enough. I detangle my hair before jumping in the shower, so while it's still dry, I brush it out. I don't use any conditioner in the shower because my hair is extremely oily and I don't need conditioner. I just wash my hair properly and then I step out of the shower and I go in with just a few spritzes of a detangling spray, and that's more than enough to detangle my hair. If you have the same kind of routine, and I do this mostly because my hair is very oily, the same way as my face, so this is something that helps me prevent starting or increasing the oil production too soon. This works perfectly for me, and that detangling spray works wonderfully in that sense because I don't have very tangly hair to begin with. But the scent, people talk crap about Lush and I understand to a point, but when they hit a scent, for me, there's nothing on the market that takes over. And that scent, first, it's beautiful if you like fresh vanilla-y scents, not deep vanilla-y scents. High lactic vanilla-y scents, that's absolutely beautiful and it lingers on your hair for so long. I absolutely adore it. I miss it dearly. I used it up. I'm trying to be a good girl and use up some other things, but I think I'm gonna go buy it before I use those other things up because this is so good and amazing and I miss it. I miss smelling like that. I miss my hair, you know, I have it in a bun most of the time, and taking off the bun and having that waft of deliciousness, I miss it a lot. And the last product I have to mention, I only used it last year, I was in awe of it, was the Living Proof Perfect Hair Day Dry Shampoo. That's so good. I use other ones from Chlorane because they are so much more affordable, but that one is an extraordinary dry shampoo because I applied it on my hair and it stayed looking clean for days, which is not something that happens to me. It is so expensive that I always stop. And maybe it would be a better investment because you buy that tin and it will last you longer than another dry shampoo tin. I know that, but what can we do? Sometimes we have problems. But yeah, it's so good. It doesn't leave residue, you know, that white residue. It doesn't leave much of a residue on my hair, and it just made my hair look washed for way longer. So it was an experience. Again, Living Proof is super expensive. I also love their shampoo actually, and yeah, dearly missed that dry shampoo. I would love to try the K18 one, the dry shampoo that is not a dry shampoo because it's a wet spray. I love to try that one. Sephora has K18, everything except for that thing. I don't understand. Maybe it's something that is not allowed in the EU. Maybe. These were my skincare and hair favorites. There's nothing regarding body this year. Anyway, these are my skincare and hair care favorites for 2024. I hope you have enjoyed my video. As usual, if you have, don't forget to subscribe. If you haven't already, leave me a comment down below. I always love chatting with you in the comments. You're so generous with your time. And leave me a like. And as always, thank you for spending your time on me. And I'll see you on my next video. Bye!